Hello and welcome, friends. Butter up your poopers and flex those pointers, because we're going on a wild ride.
Fight the power!
Video games make great escapist entertainment because they pull you out of the real world and shove you up the nasty hole of some fictional world where you can live out your own homoerotic power fantasy. You can travel through the mystical lands of old, or save distant planets, fight against the world's strongest, or hold a gun. But forget that, I want to be a lawyer. If only there was some kind of video game series that would allow me to live out this impossible dream. Well, enter Capcom. That's right, Capcom. The company most famous for games like Street Fighter, Resident Evil, and that other thing. Released Gyakuten Saiban in 2001 for the Japanese audience to play on their Game Boy Advance. Developed by a small team led by Shu Takumi. Takumi, fresh off his previous Capcom project, Dino Crisis 2, was assigned by his boss to create whatever game he wanted in the time span of 6 months. Takumi was still wet behind the ears in the game industry, but that didn't stop him from leaping at the chance to make his mark as a creator. With all the creative freedom he wanted, Takumi made the kind of game he always wanted to make, a mystery game. Originally, the project was a fairly typical adventure game with a detective starring in the lead role. However, as most adventure games merely had the player sit back and choose different dialogue options for their character to make the story progress, Takumi wanted to do something different. Takumi wanted players to deduce what was happening for themselves rather than just choosing what their character says. So, he developed a concept where players would face off against the suspect of a crime and defeat them by finding the contradictions in their statements. So Takumi sat around and was like, well, detectives don't do that. But who does do that? Who would have to go through every single statement and compare it with something to find contradictions? Well, lawyers. That's right, lawyers. And thus, Ryuichi Naruto-Hudo was born. However, we wouldn't meet Ryuichi in the West until like 5 years later when Gyakuten Saiban was localized as Ace Attorney for the Nintendo DS. Finally, the people of not Japan were able to meet the one and only Phoenix Wright. Ace Attorney is quite possibly my favorite video game series, and I couldn't wait to talk about it at some point. So, I figured with Professor Layton vs. Ace Attorney finally coming out in the States at the end of the month, now would be a good time to dedicate a whole month to Ace Attorney.